Okay, so let's look at study guide 1. So first, the height of a triangle is 4 feet less than the base, x. The area is 30 square feet. Set up and solve an appropriate quadratic equation. Find the base x of this triangle. Use the formula a equals 1/2 times base times height. So I have a triangle. I have a base its measure is x. And I have a height its measure is 4 feet less, so x minus 4. My area, which is 30 feet, equals 1/2 times x times x minus 4. Now, first thing I can do is multiply both sides by 2 to get rid of the half. So I have 60 equals x times x minus 4. Then I can distribute this x. X squared minus 4x equals 60. So x squared minus 4x minus 60 equals 0. Okay, if I look at my factors of 60, we have 6 and 10. 10 would be negative, so I have x minus 10 times x plus 6 equals 0. So x minus 10 equals 0, or x plus 6 equals 0. X equals 10, or x equals negative 6. And since we're talking about a measurement, can't have a measure of negative 6, so x equals 10 is our answer. That's all at once, but the height is 6. Okay, so now we have our equation. Solve the equation for x. So first thing we need to do is factor. And if you look, if you remember what I said, go ahead and just FOIL these, and you should get x squared minus x minus 6. That tells us that this factors to x minus 3 times x plus 2. So that is our least common denominator. If I multiply both sides times that, x minus 3 times x plus 2 over here as well. X minus 3 times x plus 2. Okay, so here the x minus 3's cancel out. I have 4x times x plus 2. Here the x plus 2's cancel out, so I have minus x minus 3. And here everything cancels out, so I have 3x squared plus 6. Distributing here, I have 4x squared plus 8x minus x plus 3, negative of a negative, equals 3x squared plus 6. Now bring everything over. Subtracting 3x, I have x squared. 8x minus x is plus 7x. And then 3 minus 6 is minus 3 equals 0. So I don't see any ready factors on that, so we use the quadratic formula. X equals negative b, negative 7 plus or minus square root of 7 squared minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is negative 3, all over 2 times a, which is 1. So I have negative 7 plus or minus square root 49 plus 12 over 2. So I have a negative 7 plus or minus the square root of 61 over 2. And that is it. And of course, we can check this answer. That's not 3, so it's not going to affect this, and it's not -2, so it's not going to affect that. Okay, absolute value. So I need to get my absolute value by itself. So I simply add 7 to both sides, and I have the absolute value of x plus 2 less than or equal to 10. Now, to get rid of the absolute value, I simply put a greater than or equal to -10, less than or equal to 10, put it in the middle here. Now I subtract 2 from both sides. I get -12 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 8. It says to write this in interval notation and then graph it. Well, I like to graph them first, so let's look at what we have here. Actually, let's go down a little further here. And I have -12, I have 0 here, and I have 8. Now this here, this part, is saying that x is greater than or equal to -12. So it equals 12 and it's greater. This part says x is less than or equal to 8. It equals 8 and it's less than. So the intersection of these two is the actual answer, and both 8 and -12 are included. So in interval notation, we just have -12 to 8, and we use brackets to signify that both -12 and 8 are part of the solution. Okay, solve. So first we're going to distribute. We get 2y minus 6 plus 1 equals 4y plus 24 minus 3. We'll go ahead and combine our like terms on both sides. So I have 2y minus 5 equals 4y plus 21. Add 5 over here. I get 26. Subtract 4 over here. I get -2y equals 26. Right, I get y equals -13. Now we can plug this in. -13 minus 3, -16 times 2 is -32 plus 1. And then we have -13 plus 6 is -7. Times 4 is -28 minus 3. And we have -31 each. So that answer is correct. Okay. How much of a 5% acid solution should be mixed with 200 milliliters of a 10% acid solution to give us an 8% acid solution? And we have 200 plus X milliliters here. So remember the setup. Convert it to decimals, multiply it by the volume. So I have 0.05 times X plus 0.10 times 200 equals 0.08 times 200 plus X. So I have 0.05 X, and this becomes 20 plus 20 equals 16 plus 0.08x. Subtract the 16, I get 4. Subtract the 0.05, I get 0.03x. And then divide 4 divided by 0.03 gives me eek. X equals 133 and 1/3 milliliters. The answers will look better on the exam. Okay, same thing here. Solve the equation. What do we have going on? I have 3 times 2x squared plus x equals 18. Well, I can just divide out the 3 on both sides and get 2x squared plus x equals 6. Bring the 6 over. 2x squared plus x minus 6 equals 0. Now, you see the factor, but we'll use quadratic formula here because it is a little confusing if you don't see it right up. I have negative 1 plus or minus square root of 1 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 6 all over 2 times 2. This is negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 1. Negative 8 times negative 6 is negative 48, but or positive 48 over 4. So I have negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 49 over 4. This gives me negative 1 plus or minus 7 over 4. So if I have negative 1 plus 7 over 4, I get 6 over 4, or 3 halves. And if I have negative 1 minus 7 over 4, I get negative 8 over 4, which is negative 2. And again, we can check those answers in the original equation. On moving day, George needs to rent a truck. The length of the cargo space is 18 feet. The height is 3 feet less than the width. Rental company says the cargo volume is 720 cubic feet. What are the dimensions of the cargo space? Assume the cargo space is in the form of a rectangular solid. So the length of the cargo space is 18 feet. The height, so if I let this be x, the height is 3 feet less than x. So x minus that. Remember, volume equals length times width times height. So 720 equals 18 times x minus 3. Now again, we should be able to divide both sides by 18. I think that works out evenly. Yes, it does. So this is 40 equals x times x minus 3. 40 equals x squared minus 3x. Bring our 40 over, and I have x squared minus 3x minus 40 equals 0. And it looks like 8 and 5 with 8 being negative. I have x minus 8, x plus 5 equals 0. X minus 8 equals 0. X equals 8, or x plus 5 equals 0. X equals negative 5. We're talking about a distance again, so we can't have a negative 5. X is 8 feet. So what are the, if x is 8 feet, x minus 3 is 5 feet. So I have 5 feet by 8 feet by 18 feet. That is the dimensions. Okay, solve. So I have x minus 1. This could be x minus 1 cubed to the 1/4 equals 27. Actually, let's change that. Let's go this route. This can be x minus 1 to the 1/4 cubed equals 27. Remember, when we have a power raised to a power, we multiply the power. So 1/4 times 3 gives us a 3/4. Now I can take the cube root of both sides, and then I get x minus 1 to the 1/4, and the cube root of 27 is 3. Then I can take both sides to the 4th power. So this becomes x minus 1. This becomes 3 to the 4th, which is 81. Then I just add 1 to both sides and I get x equals 82. Okay, we got an inequality here. We solve. So we have an or, so we have to do these separately. So 3y minus r is less than -6, y is less than -2, or here we have negative y is greater than -1. If I multiply both sides by -1, I get y here and 1 here. Don't forget to swap the signs. So one way to write this would be a number line. Best way to see it. We have -2 here. We'll put a 0 here and we'll put a 1 here. Now this here is saying y is greater than -2, but not equal to. So we use a parentheses and greater than. Here we're saying y is less than or equal to 1. So we use a bracket and we go less than. Now here's the thing. This is an or statement. So that means it's the union of the two. So that means it's everything going this way and everything going this way, which means -infinity to infinity, or all reals. Any of these three methods would work. And lastly is the gimme question. So solve 2x plus 3 equals -13. So I take 2x, I subtract 3 from both sides, divide by 2, and that is it. So test questions will be very similar. Any formulas you need, such as the triangle formula, area of a triangle, or volume of a cube, will be given to you if you need them. And the results should come out a lot evener. So that finishes this, or more even, I should say.